93 Boxing, I'm back with a quick video. You see HBO's pound for pound list? Seems like a joke, and it is. You got Lomachenko at number 1, who hasn't even had 10 fights, and already has a loss. They promised Andre Ward, if they win the fight, then he's going to get the number 1 spot. And personally, I don't think he won the fight, but it doesn't matter how you get the win. The fact that if he got the win, right? Whether he got robbed or not, then HBO should put him at the number 1 pound for pound list. How is Lomachenko even above Andre Ward is beyond me. How is he even above Terence Crawford? How's Terence Crawford number 5 is beyond me. Triple G is like ahead of Terence Crawford when Triple G ain't done shit. Triple G ain't done shit, man. But you know, they made that list on purpose probably to make us talk about it. It gets more attention. That's really all it's for. And plus, I guess, you know what, a lot of these audiences are white in America. I think 60-something% of the people are white in there. And out of those people, there's quite a lot that's racist. Not to say that other race can't be racist, not to say that white people are the only racist people. No. And not to say all white people are racist, but there's a lot. And I've noticed this as I've been in this YTBC doing videos. Whether I've been successful or not, that's a different matter. But I've seen a lot of racism from white people against black people. White Americans on black Americans. And it's especially with Andre Ward. I guess to gain more fans, they need a white fighter at the top. To gain more viewers, to get people to agree with them and shit. So you got Andre Ward like number 2. I can't remember who else is like. No, do you remember Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez? Guy was some people were saying number 1 pound for pound. What happened to him? I just ask yourself that question. What happened to him? He's a good fighter. He's still a good fighter. And Lomachenko's a good fighter as well. I'm not taking nothing away from these fighters. But have they even lived up to any... Like, see, they didn't really fight any top fighters on a consistent basis. And they get exposed and there goes the hype. Boxing's all hype now. Boxing's all hype. You realize, here's the thing, right? A lot of people are picking Canelo to beat Golovkin now. Right? I was picking Canelo to beat Golovkin before the Danny Jacobs fight. I've been saying this. Now, whether Canelo loses or not, a lot of people, the fact that they're picking Golovkin after the Jacobs fight, just imagine if Danny Jacobs and Golovkin didn't fight each other and Golovkin fought another bum or like a C-level fighter. Golovkin would have probably knocked that guy out. And there'll be even less people picking Canelo than there is now. Why? Because they will buy into the hype. And this is what I mean, boxing's all hype. Fighters only look at who's beaten. They don't look at who beat who. They don't look at who have you beat. They look at your record. They look at how many, if you got a 0 or not as a loss. How many losses you got. And that type of shit. You know, going to, like, say, Kell Brook, for example. He talking about Amir Khan not fighting a puncher. Not getting knocked out every time he faces a puncher. Well, has Kell Brook ever beat a puncher? I mean, you had people going to Errol Spence fight saying, oh, Kell Brook's only got 1 loss. Well, how many top fighters has he fought? 2, right? Do you expect him to have more than 1 loss if he rarely ever fought good fighters? Do you expect him? I mean, if Kell Brook had more than 1 loss or 2 loss or 3 loss, and if he has got a resume like that, he fought like mostly bums, then obviously Kell Brook wouldn't be a top fighter. No shit. Now, Kell Brook's lost 2 fighters, right? Every time he faces a puncher, his face gets broken. I mean, that's not a disrespect, but that's what it seems like. People are going to brand other people. Like, now I think Kell Brook's hype is kind of gone a bit. He just needs 1 more loss and then his hype is gone. I'm waiting to see if he can come back. I'm waiting to see if Roman Gonzalez can come back. I don't even know what happened to him. But see, that's the thing. Boxing's all hype. Some people do live up to the hype. And when the hype goes away, fighters become they go from overrated to underrated severely. And these fans, they're not loyal either. They need to keep supporting their fighters, man. I kind of feel bad when the fans hop from one person's dick to another. Even if I hated that person for a long time, as a fighter, I don't hate them. Like, I dislike them, to be honest. Dislike is the correct word. But yeah, if they keep let's say if Triple G loses to Canelo, a lot of people are gonna jump off his hype, calling him all kinds of shit. I might actually feel bad for Triple G. I might do. I kind of feel bad for Kell Brook, but he still deserved the hate after hating on Amir Khan, who actually took more chances in his career. Yeah, man. Boxing's all... Remember Amir Khan with all the hype he had before the Canelo fight? Do you remember that? He went from the Julio Diaz fight, where he was irrelevant, as people said, to being mentioned with Floyd Mayweather, and then fighting Luis Collazo, and people are like, oh, this guy is back. Then he fought Devin Alexander, beat him. It's like, oh, this guy's back. He had a questionable performance against Chris Algieri, but that was that, you know. Keith Thurman had questionable performance against Luis Collazo. People saying he's exposed. I said he was a bit exposed to the body. I mean, exposed, everyone has weaknesses, right? And then Khan goes and fights Canelo. We know, even watching from the Luis Collazo fight, Devin Alexander fight, that Khan would still lose to Canelo. Any Khan would lose to Canelo. And we know this. But the thing is, we know that Khan will lose to Canelo, and that Khan has so much hype. So when this Khan goes to fight Canelo, his hype is suddenly gone. All of a sudden, this guy's this laughing stock of boxing, the glass chin laughing stock, he ain't shit guy in boxing. Meanwhile, the same Khan who beat Collazo and Alexander, he had all this hype. Boxing's all hype. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Boxing's all hype. All it takes, right? Like from 2016 to 2017, see how hype changes. From 2016 to 2017. Every year, one guy goes from overrated to underrated. One guy goes from being talked about to being irrelevant. And they might bounce back in the next year or the year after. That's what's going to happen, man. That's what's going to happen. But what happened to Roman Gonzalez, man? It's really what I'm trying to say. Boxing's all hype. Boxing's all hype. And this Lomachenko guy, you had Jim Lampley who was trying to say, Lomachenko's too small for Crawford. Crawford's too big for him. But he didn't have any problem wanting Floyd Mayweather to fight Triple G, and almost kind of shitting on him a little bit for not fighting Triple G. That's insane, man. That's insane. I kind of sit back and laugh at these. I mean, no disrespect to some of these boxing fans, but I kind of sit back and have to laugh at these. Like, man, it's so easy to fool and control these people, man. They buy into hype so much. It's insane. This shit is insane. It's like... And even I had people telling me Joshua was going to just wipe the floor with Klitschko. And I said... I even told my friend, Joshua's power is... Like, Wilder's power is... Not Wilder, sorry, Klitschko. His power is underestimated. And no one even thought that. And I said it'll be a competitive fight. Joshua's not fighting no bum here. And Joshua, he did win, and it was impressive. 19th fight, right? But people just sort of buy into the hype, like, yeah, Joshua's going to just walk the floor with him. Like, just walk through him like Klitschko ain't shit. Man. I can't wait. Like, right now we see, right, what's the, like, for each fighter, there's like a certain amount of hype. Triple G has, his hype is kind of reduced. Canelo's hype is kind of increasing. Triple G's still the favorite against Canelo. Kell Brook's hype is kind of reduced when, a year or two ago, Kell Brook's hype was the shit. Look at him now, I guess. It's good. It'll be interesting to see if he can get his hype back up again. I think Amir Khan will bounce back. I think Lomachenko will go down within 2 years. I mean, he has to fight someone within 2 years, unless he's just a bum fighter. I want to see how some of these hype changes. I think Sergey Kovalev might get exposed. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. I'm leaning towards Andre Ward still. I think he figured Sergey Kovalev out in the late part of the fight. So he's going to kind of continue maybe. If Sergey Kovalev loses this convincingly, he'll be exposed, man. And he'll go from overrated. Maybe not. Maybe Sergey Kovalev's not overrated, but I think he'll be underrated and be shitted on almost. Let me know what you think. 93 Boxing, I'm out. Don't forget to subscribe.